talk about my prescription list. As far as my health from traditional medicine, I only have one prescription. That's an aromatase inhibitor, which I've cut in half because of the bone density issues we already talked about. But mainly, I've gone to a strictly organic, non-GMO diet. It's been a very interesting experience for me, and I'll tell you why. But first, I found a great book. I'll get you the information. It's called Buying Organic. I actually found it when I was walking through an airport in Detroit by Perry and Schultz. And what I like about this is they talk about their great garden and being self-sufficient, which of course are the values of the Grow Network. And they talk about how food is an emotional issue, and they give you all kind of charts to let you judge yourself and see what kind of an organic shopper you are, whether you're a classic organic shopper, a choice, a basic. And the classic, which is the category I'd put myself in right now, which is why it caught my eye, you're aware of organics, environmental benefits, and social implications. So they really go into great detail about organics, which I really like. They give all kinds of information that we don't have really time to go through, but listen to this. They talk about the growth in organic farming and its products is a worldwide phenomenon. Um, and they say both Australia and Europe have a higher percentage of acreage devoted to organic practices than the United States. So again, it's interesting to look around the globe at various practices. But basically, then they go chapter by chapter through different kinds of organic drinks, organic fruits, organic vegetables, organic seeds and beans, and just a fascinating book. And they tell you all the products. They tell you how to go down the various grocery store aisles. They show you the branding. And what I think is really interesting, one of their comments when they got to the chapter on frozen entrees, they said, "We've now reached the level of processing." This is with regard to how things are packaged and labeled, that requires a PhD, or at least an appreciation for the poetry of modern chemistry to comprehend. And they show just how many ingredients are on our packages in the grocery store in the frozen aisle. So it's a great read. It really tells a lot about buying organics, and I recommend it to you. So as far as organic and non-GMO, I have mainly vegetables and fruits. I do have salmon, some fish. I'm careful with my dairy. I have the yogurt, but basically I have a lot of egg whites, garlic, tomatoes, onions. I was a little slow. Initially, I thought if I went vegetarian or vegan and stayed away from meats, that was because the meat was unhealthy. And it wasn't until a few months later that it dawned on me that the reason meats, I have to be careful um, if I buy any meats, it's because of the antibiotics and the hormones that are pumped into our meats. So, because I'm trying to rid any kind of hormone out of my system because my tumors were hormone driven. It was certainly ridiculous if I would go to the store and then buy food that was injected with hormones. And so what I was trying to get rid of, I just put back into my system. So it took me a while to learn really about organics. I'm interested now in the sprays. Some vegetables are sprayed more heavily than others. So because organic food is expensive, if you buy organic or non-organic, you can save some money, but you have to kind of look and learn a little bit about sprays. Corn is one of those crops that's sprayed rather heavily. Also coffee. I learned about the sprays for coffee, so now I try to buy coffee from organic coffee beans. So it's been an interesting sort of journey, but basically I'm on an organic diet, mainly fruits and vegetables now. I also use essential oils. I use frankincense, with a coconut oil. I rub that on the soles of my feet each night, each evening. I have a diffuser in my room, and the essential oils I've selected for me, and again, there's a whole list of essential oils that you can learn about, probably already know about, but I prefer frankincense and myrrh and lavender in my diffuser. I also have a homemade salve that I rub all over and use it for softening my skin or any kind of wound or any kind of pain or spots. It's lemongrass, frankincense, and myrrh. It took about 4 weeks for me to make. I used as a base chamomile dry flowers and put that with virgin olive oil and let that sit in the sunlight for a couple of weeks, and then used vinegar and white wine, put some in, and then let it sit a couple more weeks, and then used a double boiler with beeswax, mix that all together, and I have the most wonderful homemade salve now that I use. I also went to the Instant Pot pressure cookers. You can customize them now. They have a sterilizing feature. It keeps your food really tender, your meats. It keeps all the vitamins and minerals in. You can boil eggs. You can make broccoli. That's the greenest, most beautiful broccoli. You can make yogurts. So I like the Instapot pressure cookers. And then in terms of my home, I've gone to organic toothpaste, deodorant, shampoo, conditioners, my hand soap, my laundry soap. So I'm trying to remove all the additives that would be in those products. And in addition, I try to eliminate all plastic now and have everything that's glass or stainless. And of course, I use a filtered water. Then I take turmeric, Essig tea, and tonics. I take a plant-based magnesium, and then I have vitamins like D, A, C, and B12. I also went to the dentist, and my dental hygienist was saying that every time you chew gum, you pull the metals from your old fillings back into your system. So I asked my dentist to remove my old fillings and replace them with a composite material. And then in addition, on my prescription, I try to practice forgiveness uh, as often as possible. I spent a considerable amount of time the last few months forgiving everybody, everything, every issue in my life I could think of. I try to always stay happy and positive. I have a series of saints that are particularly applicable for me, gifts from persons that I try to pray and be appreciative to on a daily basis. I try to exercise, I walk, I ride an incumbent bike several miles a day. And then finally, what's given me a great peace is my love for horses. I have a friend that has horses, and then recently I found a horse sanctuary near my home where they rescue horses and promise that they can stay uh, for the remainder of their life. So I enjoy being with horses in the horse sanctuary. So those are my prescriptions that I try to follow.